English simple for everyone.
Speak English with Josh and Hana.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talk with Hana. I'm so glad you're here with us today. Whether you're listening for the first time or you've been with us from the beginning, we are happy you're here.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. And if you're new here, you picked a great episode to start with. Today's topic is one I genuinely wish someone had taught me earlier.
Same. I remember when I was learning English, I was studying grammar, memorizing vocabulary, doing all the right things. But when I tried to actually speak, my mouth just didn't cooperate.
Yes, the brain knows the answer, but the mouth is still buffering. That's such a real feeling for so many learners.
And that's exactly what today's episode is about. Today, we're going to talk about how to train both your mouth and your brain to work together so your English comes out naturally and fluently.
By the end of this episode, you're going to understand why fluency is a physical skill, not just a mental one. And you're going to have real, practical techniques you can start using today, not tomorrow, today.
That's the goal. And here's a question for you right now. Write your answer in the comments below. What is the biggest problem you face when you try to speak English? Is it that your mind goes blank, your pronunciation, your speed? Tell us.
We read every single comment, so please share. And while you're down there, hit that subscribe button on Talk with Hana. We post new episodes every week, and you don't want to miss them.
Okay, are you ready? Let's train that mouth and brain together. Let's go.
Let's do this.
Okay, so here's the first thing we want to talk about, and this is something that really changes the way you think about learning to speak English.
Right. Most people think fluency is about knowing more words or knowing more grammar rules. And yes, vocabulary and grammar matter, but fluency is also a physical skill.
Think about it this way. When you ride a bike, do you think about every movement? Do you say to yourself, okay, push left pedal, balance, push right pedal?
No, your body just does it automatically because you practiced until it became a habit. And your mouth works the same way when you speak English.
Exactly. The muscles in your mouth, your lips, your tongue, your jaw, they need practice. English sounds are sometimes very different from the sounds in your first language. Your mouth muscles aren't trained for them yet.
And your brain is the same. When you're a beginner, your brain is translating from your first language into English. That translation process is slow. It's why you feel like you can't speak fast enough.
So the goal of training is to get your brain to stop translating and start thinking directly in English, and to get your mouth to produce those sounds without extra effort.
Here's a great example. Say this sentence out loud right now. I'm really trying to improve my English every single day. Say it. Go ahead, say it out loud wherever you are.
Did you say it? Good. Now say it 5 more times, faster each time. You'll notice your mouth starts to feel more comfortable after a few repetitions. That's the physical training happening right now.
So remember, fluency has 2 sides. 1, your brain needs to think in English without translating. 2, your mouth needs to move naturally and produce English sounds comfortably. We're going to give you tools for both.
And here's your first comment challenge. Tell us, when you speak English, do you translate in your head first, or do you sometimes think directly in English? Let us know in the comments.
Great stuff. Now let's get into the specific techniques, starting with the most powerful one.
So let's talk about how to actually train your mouth. And the first technique is one of the most powerful in the world of language learning. It's called shadowing.
Shadowing means you listen to a native speaker or a fluent speaker and you try to speak at exactly the same time as them. Not after, at the same time, like a shadow that follows every movement instantly.
It sounds simple, but it's incredibly effective because when you shadow, you're not thinking about grammar. You're just copying the rhythm, the speed, the pronunciation, the pauses.
You can shadow podcast episodes like this one. You can shadow YouTube videos, TV shows, movies, anything where someone is speaking natural English.
The first few times, it will feel impossible. You'll fall behind, you'll lose the rhythm, you'll mix up words. That's normal. That's the training.
Think of it like going to the gym. Your first time lifting weights, it's heavy, it's hard, you might drop it. But every time you go back, it gets easier. Shadowing works the same way.
Now, there's also another technique called drilling, and this is slightly different. Drilling means you take one sentence or one sound and you repeat it many, many times until it feels completely automatic.
For example, maybe you have trouble saying the th sound, like in the, this, think, throw. You drill it, you say it over and over. The thing I think about is this. Again, the thing I think about is this.
You can compare formal and informal drilling too. Formal drilling is very structured. You sit down with a specific sentence and repeat it 10 times. Informal drilling is just catching yourself in daily life. Maybe you mispronounce a word and you immediately say it correctly 5 times out loud.
Here's your second comment challenge. Tell us, have you ever tried shadowing? If yes, what did you shadow? If no, what would you like to try shadowing? Write it in the comments.
Now, let me give you 3 specific tips for shadowing and drilling. First, choose content that is slightly above your level. Not too easy, not impossible. If you understand about 70 to 80% of what you hear, it's perfect. Second, shadow for short bursts. 5 to 10 minutes of focused shadowing is better than 1 hour of lazy listening. Quality over quantity.
Third, record yourself. This is the one most learners skip. Record your shadow or your drill, then listen back and compare. You'll catch things your ear misses in the moment.
Those 3 tips alone will take your spoken English to a completely different level if you follow them consistently. Now, let's move on because we want to talk about training your brain. Okay, now let's talk about the brain side because you can have great pronunciation, but if your brain is still translating everything from your first language, speaking will always feel slow and exhausting.
The goal is to build what's called an English thinking habit. And the most effective way to do this is through English self-talk.
Self-talk means you talk to yourself in English throughout the day, not in a strange way, just in your mind or quietly out loud, narrating what you're doing.
For example, you wake up in the morning and you think, I'm so tired, I really don't want to get up. Okay, fine, I'll make some tea first. In English, not in your first language.
Or you're cooking and you think, okay, I need to add some salt. The onions are almost ready. This smells really good. All in English.
It sounds almost too simple, right? But this is extremely powerful because you're training your brain to start generating English thoughts automatically. And those automatic thoughts become automatic speech.
There are real-life situations where this is especially useful. Think about what happens before a job interview or before a difficult conversation or before meeting someone new. You feel nervous and your English goes away.
Why does that happen? Because when you're nervous, you revert to your most automatic, comfortable habits. So if your brain is still used to thinking in your first language, that's what comes out under pressure.
But if you've been practicing English self-talk every day, even your nervous brain will produce English because it's become the habit.
Here are real-life situations to practice self-talk. While commuting, describe what you see around you. While shopping, name the items in English. Make shopping conversations in your head. While waiting, imagine a conversation you might have and mentally rehearse it in English.
Let's do a quick practice right now. I want you to pause just for 10 seconds and say 3 English sentences about what you're doing right now. Where are you? What are you doing? How do you feel? Go.
Welcome back. That was your brain training moment for today. And here's your comment challenge. Write in English, where are you right now and what are you doing? Describe it in 2 or 3 sentences in the comments. This is practice.
The more you do this, the more English stops feeling like a foreign language and starts feeling like your own.
Beautifully said. Now let's look at some of the most common mistakes people make when they're trying to build fluency, because avoiding these can save you months of frustration.
Okay, this is one of my favorite parts because honestly, I made every single one of these mistakes myself when I was learning, so I'm not judging anyone here.
Same. Let's be real. These mistakes are so common because nobody tells you about them. Let's go through them one by one.
Mistake number 1, studying grammar instead of speaking. Now, grammar is important, but a lot of learners spend 90% of their time reading grammar books and 0% actually speaking. Your mouth doesn't get trained by reading, it gets trained by speaking.
The correct approach, use grammar as a reference, not as your main activity. Spend more time speaking than studying. Even if you make grammar mistakes when you speak, that's okay. Fluency comes from practice, not perfection.
Mistake number 2, waiting until you're ready to speak. This is a big one. I'll start speaking when my English is better. But your English only gets better by speaking. It's a circle. You can't escape it.
Incorrect, I'm not ready to speak yet. My English is too basic. Correct, I'll speak now even if it's basic. Every conversation makes me better.
Why is waiting wrong? Because fluency is built through repetition and real-time practice. No amount of silent studying gives you the automatic, in-the-moment fluency that actual speaking gives you.
Mistake number 3, speaking only when you have something perfect to say. Some learners go completely silent in conversations because they're trying to form a perfect sentence in their head before speaking, but real conversation doesn't wait for you.
Real conversation is messy. Native speakers pause, self-correct, say and you know, and actually what I meant was, it's not perfect, and that's completely fine.
Mistake number 4, not using your target language in your environment. If your phone is in your first language, your social media is in your first language, your music is in your first language, your brain is spending most of its time in your first language.
Change your phone to English. Follow English creators. Listen to English music, podcasts, audiobooks. Create an English environment around yourself. The more English surrounds you, the faster your brain adjusts.
Here's your comment challenge. Which of these 4 mistakes are you most guilty of? Be honest. Write it in the comments. No judgment, we've all been there.
And remember, making mistakes is not failure. Making mistakes and not changing anything, that's where growth stops. But recognizing a mistake and adjusting, that's exactly how fluency is built.
You're doing great. Let's go into our practice section now.
All right, it's practice time. This is the part where you don't just listen, you actually participate. So get ready and say your answers out loud. Even if you're on the bus, even if you're in the kitchen, say it out loud.
Here we go. I'm going to give you 2 options and you choose the better one for building fluency. Ready?
Situation 1. You want to improve your speaking. Which do you do? Option A, you read 5 chapters of a grammar book. Option B, you shadow a 5-minute podcast episode 3 times.
Option B is better because your mouth and brain need active practice, not passive reading. Reading grammar helps you understand rules, but only speaking trains your mouth and builds automatic fluency.
Situation 2. You make a mistake in English during a conversation. Which do you do? Option A, you stop speaking, feel embarrassed, and go silent for the rest of the conversation. Option B, you correct yourself quickly and continue speaking naturally.
Option B, every time. Stopping after every mistake trains your brain to be afraid of making mistakes. Continuing trains your brain to recover and stay in the flow. That's a crucial skill for real fluency.
Situation 3. You want to train your brain to think in English. Which do you choose? Option A, you translate your thoughts from your first language to English in your head. Option B, you describe what you're doing in English directly without translating.
Option B is the correct habit. Translating adds an extra step that slows everything down. Direct English thinking, even if it's simple sentences, builds the mental pathways you need for automatic speech.
Situation 4. You're about to speak English with someone new and you feel nervous. What do you do? Option A, you avoid the conversation because your English isn't good enough. Option B, you take a breath, remind yourself that imperfect is okay, and start with something simple.
Option B, always. Avoiding conversations avoids progress. Starting imperfectly is the whole point. Every conversation you have is a training session for your mouth and brain.
Now here's your challenge. Create your own sentence using something you learned today. Maybe a self-talk sentence, maybe a shadow sentence you practiced. Write it in the comments below. We want to see it.
And remember, speaking out loud even when you're alone is not strange. It's exactly what the best language learners do. Real conversation confidence is built in the quiet moments when nobody's watching.
Okay, what a fantastic episode today. I feel like we covered so much, and I hope your brain and your mouth are both a little more awake after this one.
Let's do a quick summary of what we learned today. Number 1, fluency is a physical skill. Your mouth muscles need training, just like any other muscle. Shadowing and drilling are the tools for that. Number 2, fluency is also a mental habit. Your brain needs to learn to generate English thoughts without translating. Self-talk throughout your day is the key technique. And number 3, the most common mistake is waiting. Waiting to be ready, waiting to be perfect. The only way through is to start speaking now, imperfectly, and improve through repetition.
You now have a complete roadmap. Shadow something today. Talk to yourself in English tonight. Change one part of your environment to English this week. Small, consistent actions, that's how real fluency is built.
Here's a reflective question before you go. What is one specific change you're going to make after listening to this episode? Write it in the comments. Make it a commitment. We'll be cheering for you.
And if this episode helps you, please share it with one friend who is also learning English. You could be the reason someone's English gets better today. Also, like this video, subscribe to Talk with Hana, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode.
We are so grateful for every single one of you who listens, who comments, who shares these episodes. You are the reason we keep making this show, and we genuinely love seeing your progress.
Keep training, keep speaking, keep going even when it's hard, especially when it's hard.
You've got this. We believe in you. See you next time on Talk with Hana.